Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please give us a like and a subscribe, and don't forget to tap the bell notification to get notified for every time we post a new video. Now I've come here today just to talk to you about what I take in my pack on a wild camping trip. Now obviously this is subject to weather conditions, time of year, and down to personal preference really. I'm not an ultralighter camper, however over time I have gathered quite a lot of ultralight gear. So bits of this you'll see are ultralight and expensive, bits of it are not. And it's up to you really, whether you want to go out and spend, you know, whatever on various bits of kit. Some of it's justified, some of it's just personal preference. So let's get started. First of all, my pack of choice is the Osprey Exos. The main reason I bought this pack is one, because it's very light, and two, mainly because of the airspeed system on the back here. I tend to run quite hot when I'm walking and carrying a lot of weight, and I wanted something that was going to add a little bit of airflow around the back, and that's the main reason why I went for the Osprey pack. I won't go into a full review on the pack in this video, maybe we'll look at that another time. So starting from the front of the pack, I carry a full set of Gore-Tex. So I have my Gore-Tex jacket. I also don't put this in a stuff sack, which you'll see in a minute a lot of other stuff is. And the reason I don't put it in a stuff sack is just because if it's raining, you're going to want to get it on quickly. And we also have a map and compass, which wasn't what I was trying to get to right now. Gore-Tex trousers in a stuff sack. Not going to be in quite a mad hurry to get these on, but they're there at the front, readily accessible when I need to get them on. And as you saw, little sneak preview, map and compass. Now, this is definitely always worth having with you, whether you're going to use it or not. Always carry a map and a compass for the area that you're in. And not only that, you need to make sure you know how to use it. It's not difficult at all. I've had years of experience of using a map and compass from various things, from being in the Scouts as a young age to being in the military at later life. But there are plenty of videos on YouTube. If I can find one quickly, I'll put it in the link below for you to have a look at, of how to use a map and compass, but you can literally learn it in 10 minutes. It's very simple. And then it just comes down to practice, getting out and about and using it. The case that it's in is a waterproof case, and it came with something that I bought, not map related at all, just happened to be conveniently the right size for a map, so there we go. And that is not it. What else do we have here? Pack cover. Pack cover for the rucksack. The rucksack is water resistant, not waterproof, and if you're caught in a big downpour, then you're going to want to put a rain cover over the top of your pack. So let's start with the top pocket here. So this is kind of my utility pocket. This carries basically everything that I'm going to use that's small. So the first thing we have is food. This is dehydrated pasta carbonara, yummy. Dehydrated food has the benefit of being a lot lighter in weight to carry than the wet food. It's entirely down to personal preference again. You'll probably find most hikers, wild campers will take dehydrated food over wet food purely for the fact that it weighs less, not because it tastes any better. In fact, sometimes it actually doesn't taste as nice as the wet food. But again, personal preference. Then you're going to need a spoon to eat it with. This one happens to be a titanium long-handled spoon. This is one of the luxury items we were talking about earlier. Do you need a titanium spoon? No, you don't. However, it is incredibly light, and if you imagine what a big heavy steel spoon is going to weigh, it's quite a bit compared to something like this. This particular one's from Sea to Summit. I think it was about £10, which is a bit eye-watering when you think about it, just for a spoon, but it's going to last you forever, and it's incredibly light. The fact that it's long-handled means that when you're eating your packet meals, you can get all the way down to the bottom of the packet without getting your fingers all covered in food. Next up we have 2 different cups. We have a small one and we have a big one. And the reason I carry 2 is because I often am not alone when I go wild camping. I normally take a friend with me. So then therefore we have the 2 cups. Also, when I bought this one, I didn't realise that it was so small. So I bought the cup and then I upgraded to the X mug, which is this one. And this one takes the equivalent of a normal sort of household mug in contents. And the fact that they fold down nice and small just means it's going to take up literally no space in your pack whatsoever. Again, a luxury item that you could probably make do with a normal mug in the house if you were just starting out. I carry a knife. This one is an Opinel knife. Now, it is very sharp. It is UK legal because it's just under 3.5 inches. I wouldn't walk around with it in the street, but you're not going to get into any trouble carrying it with you while you're out camping. It does have the ability to lock the blade by spinning this round, and it is very, very sharp, but it is also very, very light. The reason why it's so light is because of this wooden handle. It's a carbon blade, so it's probably not going to last you forever, but it's going to last you a long time. And this is only £10. I think it's, for £10, it's absolutely incredible, this knife. And again, you can lock it here so it can't accidentally open in your pocket for any reason. All right, next up, 2 survival blankets. This is more for hiking than camping, but again, a lot of the places that we go wild camping are up mountains and big hills. So if you were caught out in bad weather and your tent broke and all the rest of it, in a worst case scenario, these are £3 on Amazon. It's worth carrying. It doesn't weigh anything and it could potentially save your life. So I think that's a no-brainer. Okay, lighting stick. That's what I call it. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Flint. I don't actually know what the technical name is for this, but essentially what this does is give you the ability to create spark without having the need to carry a lighter. End of the day, lighters can fail. I do carry a lighter normally, but lighters can fail, and this will just, this will just give you a spark every time to be able to get your burner going in the event that its internal piezo igniter was to fail. Head torch. Now, I always carry a head torch regardless of whether I think I'm going to be outside in the dark. This is not an expensive one by any stretch of the imagination. This is an Amazon special. However, it is very bright. It does the job. There's not much more to say about it. It's LED. I don't use a head torch a lot. Obviously when it gets dark, I'm normally in my tent. So I don't think there's always a need to go out and spend a lot of money on a head torch. That being said, I'll probably change it in the future, but at the moment, that's the head torch. And last but not least in here is my first aid kit. Now, I've slimmed this down from what you would normally get in a typical first aid kit, because a lot of what you get, I often find you don't need. So in here, I have a couple of self-adhesive dressings just for any sort of blister care, some paracetamol, some plasters. I carry some water purification tablets, and then I carry 1 sterile dressing for any really big sort of injuries that you might have. The only other addition I've added into here is these green earplugs. Now the reason I've added earplugs in here is because when you're asleep in your tent and it starts to rain, and I mean really rain, the chances are that that noise is going to keep you awake the entire night, because rain on a tent, as we all know if we've been, is horrendous. So I take some earplugs so I can put some earplugs in, and then I will sleep like a baby all night long. So that's everything for the top of the lid. If we go on the inside of the lid, we have another pocket here, and in here I carry, kick that out a bit so it doesn't fall over. So I carry these Tesco freezer bags, nothing special, just a Tesco freezer bag. Now, the reason I carry these is because when we go out wild camping, it's very important to leave no trace behind. And by no trace, we mean no rubbish. No rubbish whatsoever. So the idea of taking the freezer bags is when you've finished with your food, no matter whether it's a packet meal or whether you're taking a steak or whatever you're doing, you can put the leftovers of that and your rubbish inside this bag. You can seal it, and then that way you can take your rubbish home without any risk of getting your pack or any of the contents in your pack dirty. And we also have water purification. Now this is the Sawyer Mini Squeeze. I tend not to use this a lot. I tend to carry water in with me. Now, bearing in mind if you're carrying water in, 100 litres, 1 litre weighs 1 kilo. So if you're going on a wild camp, you really need to be taking, 2 to 3 litres of water with you, especially if you're going to be using water to make up dehydrated meals, etc. So that is a lot of weight to bear in mind that you're going to be carrying. Now the advantage of taking this is that if you are anywhere near a water source, a stream or a lake or anything like that, then you can purify your water, which saves you having to carry water in with you. However, it does require a bit more planning and preparation when it comes to your route selection. I take it more of a backup, as if in the emergency situation I run out of water and I'm stuck on a mountain top somewhere, then I have the ability to filter some water. And the last thing in the lid is insect repellent. There's various different makes out there. This is maximum strength jungle formula. It's purely for keeping the midges away at night and any other sort of creepy crawlies that want to come and eat your skin in the middle of the night. Something like this can make or break a trip, because particularly if you're up in Scotland, midges and things can be quite notorious. And in fact, if anything, if you're up in Scotland, then you might want to consider a midge net as well. And that isn't something that I have in here at the moment. Okay, so that is everything in the lid. Into the main pack itself. Okay, dry sack number 1. This is a 1.5 litre Osprey dry sack. Again, these aren't mega cheap. Do you need an Osprey dry pack? No. You could use a bin liner or a carrier bag. A carrier bag and a bin liner isn't going to be 100% watertight, but it's going to be better than nothing. The main advantage of these is if water does ingress your pack, then hopefully it will keep some of your necessities dry. So inside here, I carry spare socks, spare underwear. Now we get onto the 3 litre pack. Again, Osprey dry pack, not necessary, could use a bin bag. However, this is a spare top. I normally wear a long sleeve top when I'm hiking or camping, mainly because midges seem to love me and I tend to get eaten alive. So that is a spare top, long sleeve in there. Okay. Trekology Sleeping Pad. This thing, for the price that it is incredibly small. I mean, you can see in the palm of my hand here, it really doesn't take up any space. It's arguably the size of 2 baked bean cans put together, end to end. It doesn't weigh a lot at all. As I say, it's quite cheap in price for what it is compared to some of the other ultralight sleeping pads that are out on the market. I find it quite comfy. It can be a little bit rustly and noisy when you're rolling around on it. We'll do a full review on this another time. But for what it is, very good, does the job. Hat. Always take a hat with you, regardless of whether you think it's going to be cold or not. I would always take a hat. Weather can change so quickly and temperatures can drop much faster than you think, especially if you've been walking all day. By the time you set up camp and you've cooled down, you know, you can really start to feel the cold very fast. So take a hat. I would also add to this, take gloves. Now, my gloves aren't here at the moment, so I can't show you, but always take a pair of gloves as well. Now this is a pump sack. Now this is made by Exped, however, it does work for my airbed or sleeping pad, whatever you want to call it. All you do with this is you simply get some air inside here, roll it over a couple of times, and then on the end there is an adapter that you put onto your airbed or sleeping pad, and then you just simply squeeze the air into your sleeping pad. Great bit of kit, and as you can see, it is very small, very light, doesn't weigh anything, and you can also double it up and use it as a dry sack to put some kit in, which I know a lot of people do. I don't, but a lot of people do. Trekology pillow. This is again a luxury item. You could get away with using a jacket, you could lie on your pack as a pillow, but this is £10 on Amazon. For £10, I think it's pretty well spent. Now we have our cooking system. This is the Outkit brew kit. I have already done quite an in-depth review on this one. I'll put the link here or wherever we are. I think probably over here. I'll put a link up to that video. Go and check it out. This is a phenomenal piece of equipment for the price. I think I paid under £40 for this. I can't remember exactly. I think it was under £40. When you consider the jet boils, etc., that are out there that are, you know, you're talking over £100, absolutely worth a look at. Phenomenal piece of equipment. Okay, down jacket. Now this is a reasonably inexpensive down jacket that I bought from Decathlon. I'll put a link in the description below for exactly which one it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think if I remember rightly, this was about £35. It is incredibly warm. It's also incredibly bright, which if you're trying to be stealthy on a wild camp is probably not the best choice, but you know, if you're just on the top of a hill somewhere and you just want to be warm, then this is the one. Now, believe it or not, it is folded inside its own pocket, and then you can simply squash it down, you know, much more inside your pack to fit any sort of holes that you have lurking around. It does sort of loft up a little bit to this size, but it will stuff down even further if you want it to. Warm kit is really essential to take with you on a hike, because if it suddenly gets, you know, really cold, it can really ruin your trip. Right, so what do we have left? A tent. So this is the Vango Tempest Pro 200 two-man tent. It's called a two-man tent. I'd arguably say it's a luxurious one-man tent. If you were to sleep two people in here, that's fine, but you're going to get quite cozy. So that's entirely, you know, down to personal preference really on how cozy you want to be. But it's a pretty good cheap price. I think I paid about £150 for this tent with various sort of discount codes that you can find online. I bought it from Go Outdoors. They actually sent me the wrong tent first of all. They sent me a 300, which would have been great if I wanted a 3-man tent, because I would have got a 3-man tent for the price of a 2-man tent. However, obviously due to weight and carrying it out and about, I wanted the 2-man. But they did give me a refund straight away and sent me out a 2-man tent, so kudos to them. I actually have the poles in here, the pegs in here, everything all in the one bag. Can't complain with that at all. As you can see, I've literally got all of this kit and this tent and more to come in this pack. So well done to Bango on that one. Although I think that might be getting discontinued, sadly. I'm not sure, but I think it might be. The one thing I do carry with it is the footprint for the tent. If you don't know what a footprint is, it's essentially a ground sheet that goes on the floor under your tent before you put your tent down. I didn't buy this originally, I bought it after, because after the first time I took my tent out, I noticed that the ground sheet on this, being a technical tent, is not very thick, which obviously helps with keeping it light. But I have read on numerous forums that people have had problems with sometimes the base of the tent getting a bit moist if it's quite wet out and about. So I bought the footprint, which alleviates that problem completely. And again, this was £24, I think. It wasn't a lot, and it's going to completely solve the problem of that tent getting wet on the floor. It's also going to keep the tent cleaner, because this will go down on any dirty, muddy area that I happen to be in, and then the tent can go on the top. Tent's nice and clean, and probably a lot drier when I come to pack it away. So £24 well spent, I would say. And then I think our last item is a sleeping bag. Now this one is the OEX Evolution Fathom EV 300. Now I have a varied selection of sleeping bags for different times of the year. I am one of those people that feels the cold at night, so I tend to take a sleeping bag that will go down to a temperature much lower than what I'm expecting. This particular one has a comfort rating of 1 degree, a limit of -5 and an extreme of -22. I would not be taking this sleeping bag if I was anything near planning at -22. But it does have a comfort of 1 degree, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. I wouldn't use it in the depths of winter. I'd probably take something that went down to sort of -5 at a comfort rating, for which I currently use Snug Pack sleeping bag, which I'll talk about in another video. But this one weighs 1,050 grams, which for what it is, I think is quite light. And the last thing I have in here is a pack liner. Now, this one is the small pack liner, 30 to 50 litres. I think I made a bit of a mistake when buying this. I should have bought a medium, which I think goes from 40 to 60 or 50 to 70, I'm not too sure. And the reason I say that is that this fits my pack perfectly, because my pack is a 48 litre pack, and this goes up to 50 litres. However, if you really fill this pack to the brim, which sometimes I do, then you can't roll it. You can't roll it and then clip it round. You can have it in here and clip it once, but you can't roll it, so it's technically not waterproof. Well, it's not technically not, it isn't waterproof. So I think in the near future I might be buying a medium-sized pack liner to go inside here. And the only other thing I have in the side pocket here is a trusty trowel. Now, again, this is an inexpensive piece of Amazon. It's ABS plastic. It does the job. If I need to spell it out for you what this is for, you're probably in the wrong game. Needless to say, you need to carry something to dig a hole. Your hole needs to be at least 100 meters away from a water source, preferably not near any paths, etc., or where people are likely to come across it anytime soon. Dig yourself a reasonable size hole. Try and keep the top bit to put back on the hole afterwards, so nobody can really see what's been there, and obviously take any tissue and anything like that with you. Yeah, make sure you take a trowel. Now, there's only a couple of items that aren't here today for me to show you. One is water. As we said earlier, you want to take about 2 to 3 litres of water with you while you're wild camping. You're gonna be getting hot. You're gonna be sweating. You know, you need to replace those fluids. So don't try and, unless you're taking, like you saw earlier, the water filter system, and you're planning on filtering your own water, make sure you take enough water with you. Dehydration, especially in the heat and heat stroke, is easily done if you don't drink water while you're out. And plus you need water for cooking. The other thing that's missing from here is a power bank. Obviously the main reason we go away and do these things is to get away from technology. However, if you're using GPS apps such as View Ranger or Google Maps or anything along those lines, if you're filming, if you're taking pictures, your mobile phone, etc., you know, the batteries are going to be getting used. And regardless of whether you want to use a mobile phone or not, I would strongly suggest taking one, because at the end of the day, if you do get into trouble and you do have mobile phone reception where you are, it could potentially save your life. Another app to look at is called What 3 Words. What 3 Words is an app that uses the GPS on your phone, and it will give you a 3 metre square area of anywhere in the UK of where you are. So all you have to do is tell the emergency services what 3 words from the app, and they will know within a 3 metre square of exactly where you are to come and help you. What else are we missing from here? Snacks. Snacks we're missing. So chocolate bars, a bag of sweets if you're going on a hike for a bit of a sugar rush, anything along those lines, anything that you like to have a little snack on, a bag of peanuts. Just be conscious of weight again. You know, you want to take some snacks, but you don't want to take, you know, necessarily the most heavy ones. Obviously, if it's the middle of summer, chocolate bars probably not the best idea. Maybe you want to take well, something else that isn't going to melt so likely. And the other thing that I've just noticed is missing currently is my brew kit. So that normally contains 2 or 3 3-in-1 coffee sachets. So that's milk, coffee, sugar, all in one sachet. Add some hot water, stir it up, good to go. I also normally carry 2 hot chocolate, instant hot chocolates. Again, when you've had a long walk and you've got back to camp, an instant hot chocolate can make all the difference on boosting your morale. I think that's it. I think that's everything covered for my usual wild camping equipment pack. As usual, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.